Hey, I'm Rowland Howe, I'm the president of Goderich Port Management Corporation.
I'm also the industry rep on the Ausable Bayfield Maitland Valley Source Protection Committee.
The Source Protection Committee is looking at ways of setting up standards for protection of drinking water and the sources of drinking water for the region. The actual physical port is actually part of the town of Goderich and is owned by the town of Goderich. The port is operated by Goderich Port Management Corporation. We work on behalf of the users of the port to ensure it's maintained in a navigable and safe manner. Probably 250 ships a year visit the port, and just by the very definition, we're an extension of the lake, so anything that happens in and around the port is it's important to ensure that nothing actually affects the quality of the lake water. The intake for the town drinking water is actually just south of the harbour, so we're actually in the surface water intake protection zone for that pipe. The Source Protection Committee have developed plans to protect where water is drawn for drinking water, and those plans are approved by the province of Ontario. Well, I represent industry in this area on that committee. Obviously, the perspective of industry is important, and the committee looked to me to give that perspective. All the industry that is in the port, it's important to them to have that access to the lake, but also recognizing that they're alongside the fresh water. And so they all have plans and protection in place to avoid any spillage that could get oil or anything else into the water. Anything else that happens with the boats, for instance, like fueling up and other chemicals that sometimes they take on board. People who come to supply the ships, they need to have and go through a process of verification and have site access agreements. And within that, they also have to have very detailed spill protection plans. This port is somewhat unique around the Great Lakes in that we have a very close proximity of tourist and public areas and operational port areas. And that's interesting. People come to see the boats. It's important that we actually make sure they're protected from the activities of the industry, but at the same time give them the opportunity to be part of it.
The marine industry has always been represented in Goderich. It's a busy port with access to a large network of lakes and rivers that form a marine highway connecting Great Lakes ports and out through the St. Lawrence Seaway to Europe and Asia. Vessels leave here for those destinations many times a year.
We've also just recently become members of the Green Marine Alliance. Green Marine is an environmental organization that represents ports in North America and industries that work in the marine industry in North America. They set a very high standard for environmental performance, and being part of that association causes us to be assessed on a regular basis against the standards that they set. So we can see what environmental standards that we can improve upon. This is a very busy port, and some years ago we actually thought, we probably should make more space so we can attract new cargoes and new businesses. So we set about actually building an expansion of the port in the basin to the north, and to do that we had to infill probably 4 acres of the lake bed, and that was a large environmental assessment process. We conducted meetings with all the local stakeholders, First Nations, and we did all the usual aquatic invasive species and archaeological reviews. And we undertook that process to make sure that when we built this, we didn't have an impact on the lake environment. As a result of doing this work, we actually had to build or create new fish habitat that replaced the fish habitat we were taking away by the infill. So we've actually created new fish habitat on Walpole Island, where there was a wetland that was actually refreshed, and also we did some work with the Orange in the St. Clair River, where we actually softened the shoreline a little bit for them. So this project has given us a lot more space, a lot more opportunity in the port, and it also the spin-off is we've improved habitat for fish and aquatic species across the lakes. So the next time you visit the town of Goderich and the beautiful shoreline here, rest assured that the town and the port and all the users of the port are working hard to maintain the quality of the water for drinking water, recreation and the aquatic environment in general. The website of the Source Protection Committee is sourcewaterinfo.on.ca. Please go take a look and find out more about the